this lecture, I am going to talk about a couple of properties for planes and directions in a cubic unit cell. So, one of the first thing I want to see is if I have a plane HKL, what would be its Miller index? What would be the vector which is normal to this plane HKL? What would be its Miller indices? So, let us first draw such a plane. So, let us say I have this plane HKL. And let me also locate the points where the plane HKL meets with the axes x, y and z. So, I have these points A, B, C, and imagine that we have a vector given by the indices u, v, w, which is normal to this plane. So, now if the vector u, v, w is perpendicular to the plane ABC, which means that it will also be perpendicular to any vector lying in the plane HKL. So, consider the vectors AB and PC. So, let us go back to the previous lecture, and here we have already found relationships for the vectors AB and BC. So, this is for vector AB and this relationship is for vector BC. So, we can skip the previous steps and we can directly write these relationships for the vectors AB and BC. And I should also, where the plane HKL intersects the x, y and z axis, they will obviously be A by H, B by K and C by L. So, from the previous lecture, the vector AB I can simply write as minus A by H times the unit vector I1 plus B by K times the unit vector I2. Similarly, the vector BC can be written as minus B by K times the unit vector I2 plus C by L times the unit vector I3. And as before, the vectors I1 is the unit vector along x, vector I2 is the unit vector along y, and the vector I3 is the unit vector along z. Now, we also know that we are dealing with a cubic crystal. So, since it is cubic, which means A equals B equals C. So, we are dealing with a cubic unit cell. So, A equals B is equal to C, which means that I can write the expressions for the vector AB and BC as follows. Replace everything with A. So, it would be minus A upon H I1 plus A upon K I2, which can be, I can just take A common. So, it is I1 upon H plus I2 upon K. Similarly, for the vector BC, it is minus A by K I2 plus A by L I3, and again let us take A out. So, it is minus I2 upon K plus I3 upon L, and here also there will be a minus sign here in the previous equation. So, I have now these vectors expressed like this. Now, as I had said that if the vector UVW has to be perpendicular to the plane ABC, then this vector N or vector UVW should be perpendicular to direct vectors AB as well as vector BC. So, let me also write down this vector in the form like this, that this is my normal vector N, and I can write it as, I can take A out because and I can write U I1 plus V I2 plus W I3. Since this vector is going to be perpendicular to AB and BC, which means that if I write down the dot product between N and AB vectors, that has to be 0. Similarly, if I write down the dot product between AB and BC vector, that would also be 0. So, let us take the dot products. So, there is a scalar quantity A in vector N as well as the vector AB. So, I can just put them together and that will simply become A square, and then write down the vector for N. So, U I1 plus V I2 plus W I3 dot minus I1 upon H plus I2 upon K. Similarly, for the dot product between N and BC, it would be A square U I1 plus V I2 plus W I3 dot minus I2 upon K plus I3 divided by L. Now, it should be clear that now if we expand this, we take the dot product of the two terms. So, we will see that most of the terms will drop to 0. So, only terms which will survive would be I1 dot I1 and I2 dot I2. I1 dot I2 or I1 dot I3 will be 0. So, these terms are going to be 0. So, I1 dot I1 would be 1, I1 dot I2, I1 dot I3, they will all be 0, and the other one would be I2 dot I2 would be equal to I3 dot I3 equals 1. So, if we take this dot product, then this is what we are going to get. So, from the first relation, we will have two terms, A square times minus U by H plus V by K. And for the second relation, I will have A square, I will get minus V by K plus C by L. And since this quantity, both the quantities have to be 0, implies, in fact, so we club both of them together. This implies U by H equals V by K equals W by L. So, these ratios U upon H, V upon K and C upon L, all the three have to be equal. And let us say that these ratios are equal to a quantity called chi. So, where does this take me? Well, I can write U equals chi H, V equals chi times K. I also made a mistake here. Let me write this as W upon L, and similarly W equals chi times L. So, I have now the indices U, V, W in terms of H, K and L. So, in fact, my direction U, V, W can be written as chi is common. So, I can just take it out and I have the direction H, K, L. So, now chi is just a scalar quantity, it is a constant. This clearly implies that the direction HKL for a cubic unit cell is perpendicular to the plane HKL. So, this is the first property that we have looked at. Therefore, the indices of the direction for a plane HKL, the direction indices are same as the indices of the plane. Now, since this is the case, I can now talk about angles between two planes in a cubic unit cell as well. So, angle between planes H1, K1, L1 and H2, K2, L2. And then again, this is for the cubic unit cell. Now, I have these planes H1, K1, L1, H2, K2, L2. What would be the angle between the two such planes? The angle would be defined by their plane normals. So, just from the previous discussion, normal to H1, K1, L1 is the direction H1, K1, L1. Similarly, normal to H2, K2, L2 is the direction H2, K2, L2. And therefore, just now it is a simple matter of taking the dot product between these two vectors H1, K1, L1 and H2, K2, L2 to determine the angle between these two planes. And so, therefore, all I need to do is H1, K1, L1 dot it with H2, K2, L2, and this would be equal to the magnitude of H1, K1, L1 times the magnitude of H2, K2, L2 times cos theta, where theta is the angle between the two planes. So, let us take the angle between them. So, which means that now I can write cos theta equals, take the dot product on the left hand side, and the dot product is a simple matter of H1 H2 plus K1 K2 plus L1 L2 divided by the magnitude. And what is the magnitude of a vector? You take the sum of the squares and take the square root. So, it would be H1 square plus K1 square plus L1 square to power half multiplied by H2 square plus K2 square plus L2 square to power half. So, now these two properties that we have seen for a cubic unit cell, they cannot be directly applied to the other unit cells of the Bravais lattice.